Hi, this is Glory with Successful Marketing Group. Tonight, close to 6,000 youth will be homeless in this Minnesota winter, and soon it'll be 20 plus below. You can help keep these kids warm by donating whatever you can. $20 will actually buy 5 pairs of ski gloves. These kids are cold and on the streets. Please consider helping. Go to the Winter Wear Drive website to donate at wwd.care. That's wwd.care. And on Sunday, December 15th at Lush in Minneapolis, we will be hosting a winter wear drop-off event where you will get to watch the live recording of the Cheryl Reeve Show with special guest host Jana Shortle. Go to wwd.care to donate and register for the event. Thank you so very much, and happy holidays from Successful Marketing Group.
On the last Cheryl Reeve Show, we talked about her signing her contract extension, what it meant and what her freedom might be and what her relationship with Glenn Taylor is like. Now we want to talk about what this signifies. She's been here for 10 years. She's won 4 championships. She's probably going to be around for a while longer. She had a very interesting team last year. They have young talent. It's going to be fascinating. But I kind of wanted to do a retro show here. Let's talk about what it has been like, what it was like to come here, whether you felt there were risks involved, when you knew you had a good team, what the roller coaster was like, all those things. Let's take care of all that on the Cheryl Reeve Show. Reminder, this Sunday, that's December 15th, Glory Ramsey and Cheryl and Jana Shortle are putting on the Winter Wear Drive. Go to wwd.care to find out details. 3:30 to 6:30, Sunday, December 15th at Lush, Minneapolis. That's 990 Central Avenue Northeast. But again, that's on the website. Go check it out. Really appreciate Jana hosting the show. Really appreciate Cheryl and Glory putting on this show. They do a lot of good. And if you can't make it to the show, you can do what I'm going to do, which is just go to the website and donate. Cash always works for people in need. Thank you very much for doing that. Reminder to fans of Talk North, we have a new Gopher show with Marcus Fuller and Ryan James. I'm not involved with that one, so if you don't like me, go listen to them. They're really good. And they're going to be covering all Gopher sports right now. Heavy emphasis on Gopher basketball, of course. But check that out. Thank you to our sponsors, Glory Ramsey, tell you more about her later, and Cara Quinn, your realtor, from in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. All right, Cheryl, it's been 10 years. When I say it's been 10 years, what jumps to mind?
I think like most people, like, what? It's been 10 years already? I think anytime, you're having the time of your life, it's hard to fathom. I think, people would kind of say to me, hey, next year's your 10th. No way. And I sit there and I count it up like, yeah, it's really been 10 years. So I guess my initial reaction is I'm incredulous that it really has been that long. When you think about a decade, a lot happens in that time. And then there's times when, I'm sitting around either with former players or Shelley Patterson on my staff, who's been with me through all of it, that, we start to talk about different things and then we start to go, wow, that was a long time ago. So 10 years, what I think about, like I said, having the time of my life, just feeling incredibly blessed, for the people that I've been able to be on this journey with, to be able to have found, personally a place to call home, as much as I love Minneapolis, and there's very many great people, because that's what I always say. It's not about where you live. It's who you're sharing the journey with. And, you can live anywhere, but in this case, to marry the best of the both worlds, to have great people, and for this to be such a great place to live. And we just enjoy so much about the Twin Cities area. And I just feel fortunate. I don't know that I could have ever felt like when I was sitting at my desk in Detroit in 2009, I don't know if I could have envisioned that it could go as well as it has gone. And I want to keep it going.
I'm coming up on my 30-year anniversary at the Star Tribune, and I didn't really expect it. I expected to be here a few years. Back when I moved here, sports writers, especially young sports writers who are ambitious, you kind of bounce around the country kind of like coaches. Okay, that's a better deal. That's a better gig. There's more advancement possibilities there. And then I got here, settled in, and I've sent out one resume in 30 years, and the one resume I sent out really wasn't a serious one. And what milestones mean to me is, it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person who can be aggravated by about 18 different things any given day. But when I see a big milestone like that, that's when I really become appreciative. And I think that's what you were saying, is then I look back and say, I've been really lucky to work at a really good newspaper and be treated well for a long time.
Yeah, and I think I think for me, just the age that I took over in Minnesota was helpful. Meaning, I think if I were younger, you don't quite appreciate things as much as you do when you're a little bit older, a little bit wiser. So I had been through a couple different journeys, and so I knew what we had. And so I was trying to be really mindful in each of our seasons, obviously to have the historic run that I was able to share in that, each time, maybe not early on, maybe I think in 2011, you're just on a mission. And then 2012 comes, you're on a mission again, to try to do it again. 2013 was probably after 2013 that I think we all became a little more mindful of what we were doing and how special it was to have the group of people. I think we really started to reflect on that, how the convergence of, whether it was, Lindsay Whalen returning to Minnesota, obviously Simone was already here, but Rebecca Brunson through the dispersal draft, Maya through the draft, just kind of how it all, came to be, how we just knew, it was, kind of a, as they say, a freak of nature type of thing, how it all came to be. And we all felt lucky. We all felt compelled to be our very best for each other. And that's what made it really cool. And it was just so much more than basketball. It has been way more than basketball. And I think about the relationships and the, for life mentality. My job is to get on their nerves, so when you think about those 18 things, I am those 18 things for those players that they would, be irritated by. But it's my job, and it's their job to challenge me, to be the best that I can be, there are different things along the way, presented challenges. That's the fun of it. The fun of it, was to overcome not just our opponent's challenges, but just the challenges of each team. Each team was different. That's what people don't realize, even though, the faces stayed largely the same, that each season, was a different journey. And we had to navigate different things. And, as we still go through that, that's the joy in it, to overcome, so many things. People have no idea, the kind of behind the scenes stuff that goes on. And, you get to see game day. You get to see, hopefully playoff runs and hoisting trophies, but there's just so much more. And I think probably the last 2 years, as I probably have said more than ever, this is going to be in my book. This is going to be in my book. I can't wait to write about that. I think more about that. That's probably what also 10 years means is you start to think about, kind of the chronicling, the journey that has been a decade of Minnesota Lynx basketball. And now I'm really excited to, start a new decade. I get a text message from Sil, saying, "Hey, Coach, January 1's just around the corner. It's a new decade, and I want to get this decade started off, great." That's what I get to deal with every day. Is your best player, being a leader in that way. It's kind of cool. So we're not looking to slow down anytime soon, Jim.
No, it's good stuff. You're hitting on a topic that's one of my favorite topics as a sports writer, which is, how much circumstance comes into play. And I always wonder what I see, even, like Bill Belichick. I mean, he's won all these Super Bowls. He's considered maybe the greatest coach of all time. But he's never won without Tom Brady. So how much of it is Brady? How much of it is having an owner support? I mean, how much of it? I mean, you always wonder how the pieces fit together exactly. And I wonder if you look at it that way. Is it strength of will, force of will that you're winning championships, or is it do things just have to fall together just right for anybody to win a championship?
I think it's a combination of. I think if you look at the Twins season. and the way it came together. I think there's some really intentional acquisitions based on not only talent analytics, but also who they are as individuals. And so I think there's no secret, to, kind of maybe the ingredients that go into being successful, having a culture. And that's what I was really excited about with the twins, and, mentioning to Thad and to Derek that when I saw those interviews out of the clubhouse, and when I would watch, and read quotes or listen to the things that was being said, I just was full with just happiness for those guys, because I know that's what they were in search of. They knew that's what we had with the Lynx. I know that's what they were in search of putting together, because that is the path. And so, sometimes it's getting lucky. Sometimes you land a free agent because maybe that free agent's life circumstances. When you look at, the way things came together for the Lynx, timing is everything. I'm an absolute believer in that. And I think it's probably what I'm trying to say is that timing in Lindsay Whalen's career and what she communicated to the Connecticut franchise. The Connecticut franchise was ready, because that franchise, if you look at where they were in terms of they had a couple finals runs, they were looking to make some changes. And so without that, we would not have been able to be in the situation to bring Lindsay back home. You don't know, you can't foresee, the idea of another team ceasing operations. You have one team ahead of you and they choose a different player. You end up with Rebecca Brunson. You can't, those things are just a little bit lucky. But the timing of it all come together, I guess that's just fate. It was our time. I think it's what we talk a lot about in sports is it's our time. Those 4 championships in 7 years, it was absolutely our time. Now it's up to us to seize the moment. The opportunities presented themselves. And so now it's up to you, to grab a hold of it and make it the very best it can be. And so that's, I think that's to me, a key component in that is it's not just because you get this group together, it's what that group decides to do with it and how hard they were willing to work, compete for each other, compete with each other, to make the sacrifices. That's what I think probably the biggest thing, if you were to ask me, about, the decade of basketball, what first comes to mind is the sacrifices that we've all made, to make this so great. And that's what I'm grateful, for all the people that, have sacrificed. And it's a long list. But obviously the players would be at the top of the list, and what they've given up, and the decisions that you make. Sometimes your personal life suffers. There's I can speak personally on that it's not easy. It's not easy being around professional sports. When you're around competitive people, there's a great challenge that goes with that, and that's what all of us are. The great ones have, this kind of this extra, I call it greediness. The Maya Moore is like one of the greediest people I know. She could win an MVP, a gold medal, WNBA finals MVP, win a championship. And the response is, let's do it again. I want more. What else can you do? Type of thing. And there's just this hunger that goes with the great ones. And I've been really, really fortunate to be around it for so long.
Good stuff. Hey, we want to remind you that Gloria Ramsey isn't just running the Winter Wear Drive, wwd.care. She also runs her own business, Successful Marketing Group, SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com. If you go to SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com/Cheryl Reeve, you'll get a free 45-minute action plan from Gloria herself, who owns and runs that business, who can help you get found on search engines, who can help you get found locally, help you get found by the right kind of customers, and will charge you a lot less than the big box places do. You'll get very personal service. You'll deal with an expert who's also a lot of fun to be around. So SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com/Cheryl Reeve. But again, what we're emphasizing this week is wwd.care. Donate. Find out when the show is, 3:30, 6:30 on Sunday at Lush, Minneapolis. Get down there. Say hello to Cheryl. Say hello to Jana Shortle, and have a great time. And I wish I could be there. So a website called Swish Appeal ranked its top 10 WNBA players of the 2010s. And number 1 was Maya. Number 2 was Tarasi. Number 3 is Parker. 3, Deladon.